Hello everyone and welcome to my General Hospital Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers suggest that many people are still hoping for a Sam McCall survival story. Could a dramatic twist resurrect Kelly Monaco's character? Monaco's firing enraged many viewers, especially since Sam had been a regular on the ABC serial for so long. Sam suffered a terrible end as a result of Cyrus Renault's digitalis overdose. But is she truly gone forever? Any downfall can be reversed in the soap world, so bear that in mind. Most people are willing to accept any excuse if it means seeing a fan favorite back on film. That takes us to Daniel Goddard's recent social media post honoring Professor Dalton's mentor and idol, Sir John Gordon. Gordon is primarily recognized for his pioneering work on cloning and nuclear transplantation. Therefore, this could be an indication of Professor Dalton's involvement to a cloning narrative. It wouldn't be the first time a daytime soap went crazy with clones. Could this pave the path for a twist that returns Sam to the canvas? GH viewers witnessed a woman who appeared to be Sam encounter a tragic fate at the hospital, but there is no proof that she was the actual Sam. It would be simple to alter it so that a Sam clone was swapped in and killed instead. The real Sam could be in captive someplace longing for rescue. This feels like the kind of scenario Victor Cassadine would write if he were still alive as a result of a deceased clone fake-out. At this point, Sam fans just want her back on the program. If it takes some insane clone drama to do it, so be it. Of course, Sam might be recast in the future, but most viewers would undoubtedly like to see Kelly Monaco reprise the part. Do you believe Sam could get a resurrection story? Could a clone shocker put it up eventually? Sam's name has been referenced more recently, so we'll see whether this leads to any predictions regarding her incredible recovery. According to General Hospital spoilers, terrible news is always around the corner in Port Charles, so we'll keep you updated on any unexpected developments. Molly discovers Christina's commitment papers, and Sonny goes into surgery. Thursday, April 24, 2025. Carly and Brick support Sonny in LA. Brooklyn learns of Lulu's story. Cody is kicked by a horse and Marco obtains a job. Brooklyn transports an injured Cody to the ER at General Hospital. Felicia comes over to see what happened, and he says that he made a rookie error and was kicked in the ribs by Tracy's horse. Felicia tries to locate a doctor, but Lucas is away. She gives Cody an ice pack until she can get a doctor for him. Brooklyn thanks Felicia and instructs Cody to unzip his shirt, so that the ice pack can minimize his swelling. When he takes too long, she handles it herself, calling him a huge baby. Brooklyn understands Cody is upset with her for dragging him here, but he isn't. He assumed Brooklyn was furious with him for talking to Lulu about her kid. Brooklyn assures him that she is not angry with him. Rather, she is angry with Lulu for manipulating him and interfering with her business. Meanwhile, Molly takes Rick on a trip around the hospital with his walker. They take a break, and she discusses how difficult the night of his accident was for her, and how fortunate she was to have her mother, Christina, and Cody. She claims Cody has been a terrific buddy recently. She is concerned about his support system, as his only buddy appears to be Ava. Rick describes Ava as both a customer and a friend, and they share an understanding. Molly claims Ava pulls out the worst in him, and is to blame for a number of negative events. She wants the best for her father. She begs him to think long and hard about Ava before he gets engaged in something he would later regret. Lulu interviews Lucas. Lucas stops at Lulu's house to be interviewed. He discovers the article is about adoption while expecting it to be about medical. They sit down and Lucas explains that his parents never concealed the fact that he was adopted, and he has always felt chosen. Lulu inquires about Wiley, and whether his experience has impacted his feelings about adoption. Lucas claims it didn't. Adoption is an excellent gift. Lulu wondered what it was like to meet his biological father as an adult. Lucas believes Tony will always be his father, but he discovered he can create room in his heart for Julian, warts and all. She asks if he thinks back and wonders if it would have been better not to know his father. Lucas says his father had many demons, but he's pleased Julian returned to his life. Later, after Lucas has left, Rocco asks his mother how her interview went. She said it went quite nicely. When Rocco moved in with Sam, he felt as if he, Danny, and Scout had adopted each other. Lulu adds that when she and his father agreed to spend time with him, She felt it was necessary because they had missed so much. She knows he is loved by his family, which includes Dante, Danny, and Scout. Rocco tells his mother that he has spent years longing for her return, and that being here with her is exactly where he wants to be. They embrace. Batter up. Jason takes Danny to batting practice and receives a text from Rocco informing him that he would be late. Danny tells his father that he doesn't have to stay, but Jason replies he didn't intend to leave and smacks some balls with his son. After they've hit several balls, Jason wonders how Rocco feels about living with Lulu part-time. Danny says he misses him, and Scout's absence has already been difficult. Mom wanted the three of them to stick together, but now that she's gone it doesn't matter. Jason says it's fine to have his sentiments, and he can talk to him about them and losing his mother. Jason observes that they are very similar and dislike discussing certain topics. Sam got him to talk, which helped, so he's here for his son. Danny says he's delighted he has his father. They embrace. Diane and Alexis set rules. Diane and Alexi meet with Marco in their office to establish some guidelines. Diane despises making errors, and that's what occurred when she brought him to a client and learned he was Jen Sidwell's kid. Alexis says they want him to work here but need to know his father's firm won't present a conflict of interest for their clients, Sunny and Jason. Marco tells them that his employment for Industries will not prohibit him from representing Sunny or Jason, and that he will recuse himself if a conflict of interest arises. They welcome him to the firm, and Alexis leaves to meet with Christina. Diane brings Marco a stack of case files that are still in the basic stages and he goes through them. He hands Christina her commitment papers and asks if she is sure she wants him to work on this. Diane adds this is a private affair not for his eyes, and she expects him to be discreet about what he witnessed. Marco goes to his office, and Diane places the papers in an envelope addressed Davis. Brooke, Lynn, and Molly each make a discovery. Diane stops by the hospital to see Rick and greets Molly, who is sitting with her father in his room. Diane adds that she is sending off documents for Sunny to take Avery on a week-long trip this summer, and she is giving him and Ava plenty of warning. When she lays her bag on a table, it tips over and Molly's bag follows suit. Molly helps her pick up the papers. Molly leaves, and Rick immediately begins to question Sunny's plans to travel with Ava's daughter. Diane refuses to argue with him about Ava, and encourages him to give Alexis a break. Rick wonders whether there's a reason he's taking it easy on her. Diane says this just for the sake of being a decent person. She hurriedly leaves and beats herself up for the mistake she committed. Rick realizes Alexis informed Diane about Christina. Lucas returns to work, and Felicia drags him over to care for Cody. They proceeded to an examination room. Brooklyn later inquires about Cody's condition, to which Lucas responds that he is undergoing x-rays. Lucas believes he'll be alright, just a little sore. Brooklyn praises him and recalls that Felicia mentioned a change in his schedule earlier. He explains that he had to leave for an interview, so she inquires about it. He informs her that Lulu is writing an article for the Lambview Banner about adoption. Brooklyn is surprised but maintains her composure. Molly discovers Cody sitting in a wheelchair and unaccompanied in the hallways. She asks what he's doing here, and he answers that he was booted by a horse. He's waiting for his x-rays and claims Brooklyn was with him, but she vanished. Molly explains that she was visiting her father, and decided to remain with him and do some work. She takes out the envelope labeled Davis of Diane's, which got mixed up with her belongings earlier. Cody taunts her while she works, saying Molly should get out more, but Molly claims she enjoys completing paperwork. When she opens Diane's envelope, she discovers Christina's commitment papers and is stunned. Meanwhile, Marco meets up with Lucas and informs him that he has been formally hired at Miller & Davis. Lucas claims he owes him dinner, and Marco is eager to collect. Sunny gets a surprise. Dante drops by Carly's, where Christina is caring for Donna while Sunny and Carly are in LA. They're both concerned about Sunny and how the surgery is progressing. Donna rushes in and asks Dante if he wants to go to the park. Dante says he has to pick up Rocco, but he is confident she will enjoy her time with Christina. Christina and Donna color together, and Christina gets up to get Donna some water. Donna takes Christina's phone, discovers her father's contact information, and contacts him. In Los Angeles, Brick surprises Carly and Sunny in his hospital room. He's glad Carly came to support Sunny. He urges Sunny that he should take care of himself and listen to Carly. Sunny answers a video call from Christina and discovers that it actually Donna. Christina soon finds her sister on the phone, and Donna inquires about her father's whereabouts and attire. He says that he is receiving a checkup at the hospital, and her mother is accompanying him. Christina assures her father that she has everything under control, and they bid goodbye. Sunny hoped Donna wasn't worried, but Christina was clearly terrified. The doctor soon arrives and explains that he will be mending the sections of Sunny's heart that were damaged by shrapnel from his gunshot in 2000. He knows Sunny is a fighter and an excellent candidate for this treatment. Later, Carly recalls how Sunny was shot 25 years ago and flatlined on the table, but she refused to let the doctors give up on him. She reminds him not to give up this time, and that he must persevere. Sunny promises that he will. A nurse enters to prepare Sunny for the OR, and Carly exits. She returns later and finds Sunny's bed empty, which alarms her. Brick returns to maintain her company. The doctor administers anesthesia to Sunny in the operating room. As he falls unconscious, he thinks of his family. Back at Carly's, Donna asks Christina if their father will be okay. She promises he will be, and he will return home shortly. She proposes making him a get-well card. Alexis arrives to see her kid, and Christina tells that Sunny is in LA to see a doctor, and Carly accompanied him. She is staying here with Donna. She claims Donna made her understand how fortunate she is to be here, and how she nearly lost everything. Alexis tells her that she wants her to let go of the past, and embrace the good that is coming her way. Dante stops by Lulu's to pick up Rocco and drive him to batting practice. Lulu tells him that her story is coming along, and that she believes it will have a big impact on many people. Dante ultimately arrives to the batting cage with Rocco. As the boys hang out, Dante and Jason agree that the boys are quite close to one another, and Sam would enjoy seeing them together. Back at her house, Lulu goes over notes about Dante and Brooklyn's child, including which adoption agency was employed. Brooklyn soon arrives on Lulu's porch and inquires as to what she is up to. On the next General Hospital, Dante discovers Brooklyn and Lulu arguing. Ava informs Alexis that they need to adjust her payment schedule. Willow arrives in Germany to visit Michael. Christina glances at something and asks, "What the hell is this?" Molly becomes concerned about the commitment paper she discovered. Carly asks, "Is Sunny okay?" General Hospital. Sam McCall's survival story. Could this twist revive Kelly Monaco's character? For years, General Hospital fans have been captivated by the dynamic and often tumultuous life of Sam McCall, portrayed by the talented Kelly Monaco. As one of Port Charles's most beloved heroines, Sam has faced countless challenges, from dangerous criminals to personal betrayals, yet she has always managed to emerge stronger. However, recent developments on the show have left viewers questioning whether Sam's latest ordeal could mark the end of her journey, or if a shocking twist might bring her back in an even more dramatic fashion. Rumors have swirled about Monaco's potential departure from the series, fueled by her character's recent brush with death. Sam's life has been left hanging in the balance after a devastating accident, leaving fans to wonder if this is truly the end, or if the writers have an unexpected resurrection in store. Given General Hospital's history of surprising revivals, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for Sam to survive against all odds. But how could the show pull off such a twist? And what would it mean for the future of Kelly Monaco's character? One possibility is that Sam's death is staged, allowing her to go underground for a critical mission. This wouldn't be the first time a soap opera character faked their demise to outmaneuver an enemy. If Sam is secretly alive, her return could unravel a major conspiracy, bringing her back into the fold with a vengeance. Another theory is that she survives the accident but suffers from amnesia, a classic soap trope that could reignite old storylines while introducing fresh drama. Imagine a scenario where Sam wakes up with no memory of Jason, Dante, or her children, forcing her loved ones to fight for her all over again. Of course, the most heartbreaking outcome would be if Sam truly dies, leaving Port Charles to mourn one of its fiercest defenders. Her absence would create a void in the lives of her family, particularly her children Scout and Danny, as well as her romantic partners past and present. A death storyline could also serve as a catalyst for major shifts in other characters' arcs, such as Jason Morgan spiraling into revenge mode or Drew Kane returning to Port Charles to support his niece and nephew. The General Hospital recap for Thursday, April 24th, shows that Molly Lansing Davis was horrified by the papers to commit Christina Corinthos Davis. Sonny Corinthos also went to the OR after hearing certain predictions from his doctor. So here's how Thursday's episode went down. Before Lucas Jones left for JH, Lulu Spencer questioned him at her residence about her adoption story. Brooke Lynn Quartermain admitted Cody Bell as a patient after he was kicked by a horse, and Lucas checked him when he returned to the hospital. When Lucas revealed his chat with Lulu and the adoption story she was working on for the Landview banner, Brooke Lynn tried to keep her calm. Back at Lulu's, she questioned Rocco Falconeri about his blended family experience when Sam and Dante Falconeri got together. Rocco also informed Lulu that he was exactly where he wanted to be when it came to spending time at his new home. When Dante arrived to pick up Rocco, he inquired about the status of Lulu's adoption. When Lulu was alone, she glanced at her laptop for notes on Brooke Lynn's adoption case. Brooke Lynn showed up to demand answers now that she knew Lulu was writing an adoption story. Jason Morgan struck up a conversation with Danny Morgan at the batting cages, encouraging him to express his feelings. Jason and Sam experienced some heartfelt father-son moments because both missed Danny. While Dante brought Rocco to the batting cages, Molly went for a walk with Rick Lansing, who was using a walker at GH. Molly didn't offer Rick an ultimatum about staying away from Ava, but she did express her concerns. Molly was terrified that Ava would get Rick into further trouble. Despite discovering that Marco Rio's father was the dangerous Jen Sidwell, Alexis Davis and Diane Miller hired him at the legal office. Diane handed Marco a stack of folders, one of which erroneously included Christina's custody papers. When Marco gave Diane the papers, she said they were inadvertently placed in that file and requested him discretion in this private situation. Diane placed the custody documents in a manila envelope and labeled it Davis, before placing it in her suitcase. Diane then went to the hospital to discuss a custody issue with Rick, as Sonny had planned a trip to the island with Avery Corinthos this summer. Rick acted as if he was going to be difficult about it, which prompted some discussion about Alexis because Diane wanted him to give her a break. Diane appeared irritated with herself once Rick discovered she was in on the blackmail. When Diane collided with Molly, the contents of both their bags tumbled out. Molly ended up unintentionally putting the manila envelope labeled Davis in her own luggage. Molly observed injured Cody in the waiting area, so she inquired about the horse incident and sat with him for a while. Molly was startled when she discovered the documents to have Christina committed while removing items from her suitcase for work. Christina and Dante bonded at Carly Spencer's house over their fear about Sonny's upcoming surgery in Los Angeles. Christina was keeping an eye on Donna Corinthos while Sonny and Carly were away. Later, Donna covertly called Sonny for a video conference, so he pretended to be in the hospital and said it was just a checkup. Christina eventually joined the video conversation and reassured Sonny and Carly that everything was under control at home. Donna was happy to spend time with Christina, who subsequently had a visit from Alexis and explained the babysitting scenario. Christina took a minute to express her gratitude for being alive and able to be present for Donna in this way. At the hospital in Los Angeles, Sonny's doctor described the cardiac operation and eventually prepared to operate on him. Carly effectively forced Sonny to pledge that he would persevere and stay by his loved one's side. While the anesthesia was taking effect, Sonny reminisced about happy times with his children and grandchildren. Carly was nervous as she waited for the news, so Brick kept her company and approved of her presence for Sonny. According to General Hospital spoilers, Sonny will survive the procedure, but there will be some dangerous moments as a result of another attempt to wipe him off the map. The episode began with Molly Lansing Davis in a state of complete panic, as she sifted through heaps of legal documents spilled across her desk. Her responsibilities as an attorney had never felt greater, and the pressure was increasing when she discovered a major error in the documentation she had filed for a high-profile case. Her hands trembled as she flipped over the pages, trying to figure out how such a blunder had slipped by her. The case in question entailed a custody dispute that had already received a lot of media attention, and any miscalculation might be disastrous for her client and her own professional image. The worry was written all over her face as she murmured to herself, attempting to retrace her steps and determine where everything had gone wrong. Meanwhile, TJ Ashford strolled in and sensed his wife's misery. He gently placed his hand on her shoulder, asking what was wrong. Molly, who was normally composed and methodical, was on the point of tears when she admitted her error. TJ, her ever-supportive spouse, reminded her that mistakes happen and advised her to take a big breath before confronting the issue. He reminded her that she was one of the most capable lawyers he knew, and that she could handle this. His calm approach helped alleviate her worries, but the ticking time heightened the urgency. The deadline for delivering updated paperwork was swiftly approaching, and Molly realized she needed to move quickly to save the situation. As Molly and TJ reviewed the documents, they discovered that the error was caused by a misreading of a previous court decision. The error was not entirely Molly's fault. There had been inconsistent rulings in comparable circumstances, and the statute's phrasing was vague. Nonetheless, she couldn't shake her remorse, knowing that her client's future was at stake. TJ proposed seeing Diane Miller for counsel, citing her significant experience in family law. Molly was hesitant at first, not wanting to disclose her error to another attorney, but she eventually agreed that Diane's advice could be beneficial. After a quick phone call, Diane arrived at their apartment, ready to help. The experienced lawyer analyzed the paperwork and promptly identified the problem. With her sharp legal intellect, she assisted Molly in drafting an addendum that corrected the issue without endangering the case. Molly's face lit up with relief as she thanked Diane sincerely. Diane, ever the mentor, reminded her that even the finest attorneys make errors. What matters is how they deal with them. While Molly's professional dilemma unfolded, another life-altering situation arose at General Hospital. Sonny Corinthos was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery after suffering an unexpected and serious health problem. The program had hinted at his worsening state in previous sequences, but the gravity of his position became clear as physicians tried to stabilize him. Carly Spencer, despite their difficult relationship, remained by his side, her face etched with concern. She clutched his hand tightly as the medical team prepared him for the operating room, murmuring encouraging words despite her trembling voice. Sonny, despite his discomfort, attempted a feeble smile and assured her that he would be okay. However, the anxiety in his eyes was unmistakable. This was not simply another normal treatment. The tension in the hospital hallway was palpable as relatives and friends gathered for updates. Jason Morgan stood stoically close, his usual cool manner concealing his anxiety. He and Sonny had gone through numerous life-threatening situations together, and the prospect of losing his greatest buddy was agonizing. Nearby, Michael Corinthos paced nervously, his mind racing with worst-case scenarios. The prospect of losing his father again, after everything they had gone through, was too much to stomach. Quartermaine family members, including Monica and Ned, also arrived, demonstrating Sonny's extensive relationships over the years, despite the disputes that had frequently divided them. Inside the operating room, the surgical team moved with precision and coordination. Dr. Hamilton Finn oversaw the procedure, his focus steady despite the high stakes. The severity of Sonny's sickness had not yet been completely disclosed to his loved ones, but the urgency of the procedure indicated that it was significantly more serious than previously believed. As the minutes passed, the waiting room became increasingly solemn. Carly, who is usually so strong, burst into tears as her emotions overwhelmed her. Jocelyn Jacks, who had arrived to support her mother, threw an arm over her and offered wordless consolation. The link between mother and daughter had frayed in recent months, but it didn't matter in this moment of need. Molly presented the revised documentation on time to the courthouse, due to Diane's assistance. The weight lifted off her shoulders was enormous, but the event left her unsettled. She told TJ that she had been pushing herself too hard lately, attempting to establish herself in a competitive field while juggling personal life responsibilities. TJ listened closely, telling her that she didn't have to do everything alone. They were a team, and he was there to help her in any way she needed. The poignant moment between them highlighted the strength of their connection, which is a rarity amid Port Charles's ever-changing drama. As the program came to a close, the anxiety at the hospital peaked. The OR doors finally swung open, and Dr. Finn emerged with an unreadable expression. The relatives rushed forward, desperate for news. Finn provided a cautiously positive update. Sonny had survived surgery, but the following 24 hours would be vital. The relief in the room was evident, Yet the underlying worry persisted. Sonny Corinthos had already cheated death, but this time felt different. The path to recovery would be long, and the emotional toll on those who loved him had only just begun. The episode concluded on a mournful but hopeful tone, with Molly's professional issue resolved and Sonny's destiny in the balance. The intertwined lives of Port Charles residents were once again upended, reminding viewers that no one in this town was ever completely safe from drama, grief, or redemption. The episode began with Molly Lansing Davis in complete disarray, her usually orderly desk now a jumble of legal files, highlighted notes, and hurriedly scribbled reminders. The weight of her error pushed down on her like a tangible force. She had misfiled a critical motion in a high-stakes custody case, one that might decide whether a child stayed with a loving foster home or was returned to a birth parent with a questionable record. The case had already gained media attention, and Molly, who was still in the early stages of her legal profession, was keen to prove herself. Now, with the inaccuracy in the documentation staring back at her, she felt the crushing weight of defeat. Her hands shook as she glanced through the documents, her thoughts racing. How did I miss it? The omission was not only embarrassing, it may have serious ramifications for an innocent child. The court deadline loomed, and if she didn't resolve this issue in time, her client may lose everything. The pressure was suffocating. T.J. Ashford strolled in just as despair was about to engulf her, his usual easygoing smile fading when he noticed her expression. "Molly?" he inquired, setting down his luggage. "What's wrong?" She swallowed hard and fought back tears. "I messed up, TJ. Big time." She revealed her misstep, which was a misreading of a recent appellate rule that rejected a crucial claim in her case. If the opposing counsel discovered it before she changed it, they may use it to undermine her entire case. TJ, ever the solid presence, went closer and placed a calming hand on her shoulder. "Okay, first breathe. We'll figure this out." His calm manner was a lifeline. "Have you called the clerk's office? Maybe there's still time to amend it." Molly shakes her head. "The judge is strict about deadlines. If I submit a correction now, it will appear that I did not do my due diligence in the first place." She hid her face in her hands. "I can't believe I let this happen." TJ grabbed her into a hug. "Hey, you're human. Even the best lawyers make mistakes." He paused, considering. "What about Diane? She's handled cases like this before. Maybe she can help." Molly hesitated. Admitting her error to Diane Miller, one of Port Charles's most fearsome attorneys, was like entering the lion's den. But she ran out of choices. She reluctantly took up her phone. Meanwhile, mayhem broke out at General Hospital as Sonny Corinthos was rushed to emergency surgery. The show had hinted at his worsening health in previous scenes. His unexplained dizziness, the way he grabbed the edge of his desk when no one was looking. But now the problem had escalated to a life-or-death catastrophe. Carly Spencer, despite their strained relationship, was the one to call 911 when Sonny collapsed at the Metro Court. She paced the hospital hallway, her customary demeanor shattered. "How did this happen?" she questioned, turning to Jason Morgan, who was standing close with a sad expression. Jason shakes his head. "He's been pushing himself too hard. You know how he is, never slows down." Carly's hands tightened into fists. "He should have said something." Her voice crackled, revealing the terror behind her rage. Nearby, Michael Corinthos remained motionless, his thoughts replaying the last time he almost lost his father, the shooting, the amnesia, the months of uncertainty. The notion of going through it again was awful. "He's gonna be okay," he mumbled, more to himself than anyone else. Laura Collins, ever the voice of reason, pressed a soothing hand across his arm. "The doctors here are the best. If anyone can pull him through, it's them." Inside the operating room, Dr. Hamilton Finn worked with intense concentration. The surgery was delicate. Sonny's condition, now discovered to be a ruptured aneurysm, necessitated quick attention. One incorrect move and he could bleed out on the table. Finn's hands remained steady, but the tension in the room was evident. Diane Miller returned to the courthouse and arrived at Molly and TJ's apartment, her quick eyes analyzing the paperwork in seconds. "Ah," she responded, tapping a certain clause. "This is where the confusion happened. The appellate ruling you reference was overturned in a later decision. It's a common oversight." Molly's stomach twisted. So what do I do? Diane smirked. We file an amended motion citing the updated precedent.